this channel. My name is Mata Ogo and I film about faith, beauty, relationship and lifestyle. Well, in today's video is going to be a little bit of deviation from the normal. I'm going to be reviewing a movie, and the movie is called Harriet. I just watched the movie yesterday and God, all I could just scream was purpose. And it inspired this video I'm about to make, Walking in Purpose. So if you are yet to see the movie, I'm so sorry. I may be just dropping some spoilers here and there, but I'll try my best to give you a full, do not spoil the movie for you. And if you have seen the movie, I want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section, guys. So I have so many things I wrote down, so many lessons I learned from this movie, and I want to be sharing with you all. I hope you enjoy my conversation. I hope you enjoy my lessons. So let's proceed. Okay, I think I have to give a brief of the story. There's a particular lady called, she was not called Harriet as at then. She was called, her nickname was Minty. She was popularly called Minty. So Minty and her family were sold out as slaves. So at her tender age, she had the whole trauma of the movements, the beatings and all the hardship they had to go through. Not but up until she, got married, she always had this trance of what happened, the beatings and everything, the trauma, it was still coming up to her in her dream and everything. So when she got married, she was married, so I think the movie started when she was already grown, and she got married to her husband who was a free man in that town. And so she asked her slave master that she move over to her husband's place, and start her family life, since it was her parents, her parents that were sold as slaves. So as she grew as a child, she had to automatically turn a slave, right? So she asked her master that she wanted to leave and all that. Her master refused. Just a slave trade story. And so that was where Minty's story began. Her whole passion to save herself and gain her freedom, that was where the whole story began and ended, basically. So did it end that way? I don't think it did end that way. This brings me to my first point. When God wants you to achieve or execute your purpose, the first thing He places in your heart is a burden. He places a burden that will drive you to, moving towards your purpose. Harriet she was not the only person that was sold out as a slave. She was not the only person who was born a slave, who had to live a slave, right? But Harriet's story was very peculiar because she kept on, she had the trauma of this experience, and it kept toiling her whenever she slept and everything. God kept putting it in her heart. It was a burden to her, right? So that's the first step I feel is, I don't know if it happens for all type of purpose fulfillment, but I feel most of the times the first step to fulfilling purpose is a burden. God places a burden in your heart and He makes you acknowledge it. It keeps coming and coming, just like Harriet's story played out. So the second step I'll be talking about is purpose is fulfillment. When the burden, Harriet, okay, I'm not supposed to be calling her Harriet, was the name she gave herself after she got her freedom and everything. But her name is supposed to be Minty. So let's go back to Minty. So when at this point, when she already gained her freedom, that's what I'm going to be highlighting now. At this point, Harriet already gained her freedom, and then she spent 1 year, working in that new town, settling in and everything. But having the burden alone to run, to be free, was just not the only step Minty took, right? She, aside the burden God laid in her heart, to freedom, When she gained her freedom, she still felt there was something more, right? She still felt she was not fulfilled. She still felt that she was missing out on something, and that was where God led her to her purpose, right? When she had spent a year, she still felt, I need to go back home. I need to go back. She kept having this, feeling and burden to go back home to where she's coming from, right? So purpose is fulfillment, and until she did that, she was not satisfied, she was not fulfilled. So if you are in a place where you don't feel satisfied with what you do, if you're in a place where you don't feel, you still have this burden of, God is laying something in your heart, then move. Just take that move. You don't know where it's leading you to. The burden God laid in her heart was, okay, she thought it was, okay, let her, she's supposed to go back to pick her family, to pick her husband in particular. The plan was that she was going back to just get her husband, right? When Harriet gained her freedom, she wanted to go back, get her husband, and they'll come over and she start living her life. But she don't know that God was driving her back home for a totally different mission. So you see, purpose is fulfillment, and until she had that, she was not fulfilled. And when she went back home, and she gained fulfillment. So that's it for the second point. So the third point is God. I mean, is that a tag? Well, I feel purpose is never complete when God is not at the center of it. And one beautiful thing I admired most about Harriet was she was a person who communicated with God. She was a person who listened to God. She was a person who always wanted to hear from God. Even though she was not very certain of how everything was going to play out, she always wanted to know where God was leading her to. And she was always very proactive in following God's instructions. So purpose is never complete with God. You see, even when other officials that were in charge of helping slaves, gain their freedom, they didn't achieve as much as Harriet did. Because Harriet had God. God gave her the direction she needed. Even as many times as they wanted to come for her head, she was always getting that part where she'd have to pray, and then she would get direction. Was the most beautiful part I loved, guys. Do you know how beautiful it is when you walk with God? Do you know how that's how amazing it is when you walk with God? I mean, things are always, they may feel like you're going the wrong way, but trust me. Are you trusting me? Trust God, and you never regret it. You never. So the fourth point is purpose is selfless. I mean, if you think you're working in purpose, take a step backward and think about this. If your purpose is to satisfy yourself, then you are not working in purpose, my darling, okay? Purpose is a very selfless mission, because everything that Harriet did, from saving herself down to coming down to save her family, was totally born out of selflessness. So God will lay a burden in your heart, not for your own selfish gain, is to help other people. In fact, that's the most beautiful thing about life. The moment you stop living for yourself and start living for other people, that's the moment you are working in purpose, trust me. So purpose is very selfless. And you can see that from the life of Harriet. Harriet, even at the point where her life was at stake, even at the point where she was, at one point where she had to lose her life, she chose to live for others. She chose to live for others, disregarding the risk and pain it cost her. She chose to live for others, and that's one most beautiful thing. Once you decide to live for others, you will see that you don't even have to worry about yourself, because everything will just work out in place for you. So you see, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts and encourages us in every trouble, so that we will be able to comfort and encourage those who are in any kind of trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. This Bible verse, I feel, is a perfect description of purpose. You see, most times purpose is is born from pain, from our pain. And this brings me to the fourth point. Purpose is born in pain. Most of the times, purpose is born from our pain, from our what hurt us the most. That's where purpose is born. In Harriet's own case, I felt the point where she had, that she had that epiphany was when she went back home. After spending a year in freedom, she went back home to take her husband with her, and she was feeling okay, her husband was going to be excited to meet her, and they'll just go back to and start living their life. When she got back, she realized that her husband has gotten married to somebody else. Imagine, after the much love they shared. You see why I said that if you are relying on your husband's righteousness, my husband will not cheat on me, my husband will never, because of what he's saying, my sister, you are in for a long ride. Okay, so she thought her husband was going to be waiting for her and everything, and the man's excuse was that he thought she was dead. He thought he was mourning her. He thought she would never come back. And within a year, you're already married. Let's not talk about that part. Okay. That actually I want to hint on is the fact that Harriet didn't let that get to her. It didn't let it break her down so much that she forgot herself. Most of the times now, most of us want to kill ourselves because I don't understand. I mean, I know we are humans and it's very normal for us to cry out and feel very disappointed, but it was at that point Harriet went back to God and she told God, I thought the body you laid in my heart was for me to get my husband, but God had a higher purpose for her, and she was thinking that it was for her husband. But you see, it was from that pain she felt that made her divert and be focused on her purpose. Do you understand? Imagine if God some people will say God is a wicked God. Why would God let her lose? How would God let her husband? God would have kept her husband for her and all that kind of things. I mean, if she had come back and met her husband whole, if she had come back and met her husband not married yet, her whole purpose would be, okay, let me just run away with my husband, and she would just go living a mediocre life. But God let that happen because he wanted to achieve a greater purpose through Harriet. And you see why sometimes God lets some kind of bad things happen to us, because for a greater purpose. So you see, Harriet's pain and problem and grief caused even a greater purpose and calling for her. So as her husband was already married, she was, okay, let me take my family people, let me take people that are ready to go with me, that are ready to gain freedom, let me carry them and go. And from there, the pressure became more. She felt more fulfilled. Oh, I carried this first batch. She was so happy and she wanted to do more, so she kept going back, and and that was how she kept working in purpose and finding fulfillment, and she found fulfillment, and so that's it guys. So it's not all the time whenever something bad happens you start saying, oh God, why did you? There are sometimes it's just for a greater purpose and glory. So that's it for my fourth point. I hope you like it. So my last point would be that purpose does not accommodate fear. At first you would get scared, but when you get to that point where you are either Harriet got to the point where she was like, either I am free or I die. So when you get to that point, either I do this, like the zeal and the passion is, if I don't do this, I don't know what I'm living for. Do you get? Then that's where that's purpose. Purpose is passion. Purpose comes with a passion to say that people, things are done right, a passion to help people, to act according to how God has, laid it with you or laid it in your heart. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed listening to my lessons. Well, question for the day would be, do you think at all time Harriet went back to save her people or to save those slaves? Do Do you think she had from God? What do you think about walking in purpose in that aspect? Because that's one part I am really not very clear about. If you want to fulfill purpose, right, do you always do how you are led? You know, sometimes, like most times, whenever I want to do something, I just want to do it because I just feel like doing it. I know God is the one that lays the burden in our heart, but is it all the time that, do you think it's all the time God is the one laying those things in your heart? Do you think there's sometimes those things are not from God? And is it all leadings that you should follow? Second question I'll be asking will be, do you think it was right for Harriet to let that woman die? That woman that groomed her when she first gained her freedom, that woman that she stayed with. Do you think it was right for Harriet to watch that woman die? I mean, she was there, she saw everything, she knew what they wanted her. So why did she let them get to the point where they had to kill her? I mean, I was so hot when I watched that part there. Harriet. Well, that's all. That's it for this video and this review. If you love to see more videos like this, then let me know in the comment section. I really enjoyed it. In fact, it's been a long time since I saw a movie this interesting, and I'm not really a person to watch foreign movies and take my time. I'm not really a fan of movies and all that, but this time I gave it my attention, and I don't regret it any bit. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Leave me your comments. If you've seen the movie, what do you think about the movie? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching it. Subscribe to this channel if you are yet to. I love you so much, and I love to see you in my next video. Until next time, stay beautiful and blessed. Bye.